We are live. It is 3:03 Central Standard Time in the United States, 9:03 GMT in the UK. This is the Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe.
Hey.
Coming to you live this 15th day of December. We're almost to the end of the year. Sunday. Yeah. And you're watching the stream. Great. Congratulations. You are one of those awesome people. If you catch the show after the stream or you watch it later on the video, that's cool. And if you download the audio podcast, that's really great, and we appreciate that. And if you notice, we were going to have a guest today. It was Ace. Ace is getting over the flu, and his voice is kind of jacked up, so he's not 100% back on the mend. So we missed him again, but that's okay. We're gonna keep working and get him on the show and that kind of thing. So unfortunately, we had a guest lined up. He's not feeling well, so hope he feels better soon. Get the voice back because I know he hasn't been making some videos last couple of days or a week or so. So hopefully gets back into the saddle and feels better soon.
Feels better, yeah.
Yeah, and no, we didn't. No OnePlus Cruise. You know what? Joe and I were talking before this, so I'm curious to see. Obviously, it's going to be the OnePlus 13. Obviously, OnePlus is going to do all that stuff. They're going to get creators on, and I'm curious how many went.
Wait, Sam, this is going to throw you, right? Jimmy has changed his name
to Joshua W.
That's his actual name.
Okay, well, good deal. Well, that's great. So that's cool.
I'm going to continue calling him Jimmy, though.
Yeah, it's almost like it's almost like baked into our head. But Joshua W, aka Jimmy, aka best fan of the show. He was such a good guy, great dude. We appreciate it. So yeah, he's apparently changed his name.
Well, Jermaine got there first today. And he made a point of telling Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly. Josh. Yeah, he said, "You come on, you slacking." Yeah, it's okay. He didn't change it. It's weird. So I don't know what happened. It's the magic of the internet, right? Who knows? So it's good. It's good seeing everybody on the show, and thanks for swinging on by and again spending an hour that you're never going to get back. It's okay. It's fine. But anyway, yeah. And so I'm curious. It's going to have obviously the cruise is going to have the usual folks on it, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on and that's great and everything. I guess my question is, would these creators cover the phone if they didn't go on the cruise? And I would assume they would.
Yeah, I would assume they would.
And so I guess I know companies do this, and so I'm curious. What are your thoughts on these cruises? And I know you went to Snapdragon, so obviously, but we're talking about specifically about a phone. Like Snapdragon's an OEM that's in all sorts of phones, right? So that's not
yeah.
This is specifically a manufacturer, right? This is OnePlus. What do you think about these?
What do I think about them? I'd like to go on them. I wonder what they get out of it, really. I mean, I guess as everyone's on the cruise itself, they're all on their socials saying OnePlus paid for me to go on a cruise. Hey, so there's a lot of publicity there, isn't there?
Well, yeah. Well, that's because they have to say that they're basically on a cruise for OnePlus. They can't
just be paid travel,
right? It's paid travel.
To say, yeah.
Right, exactly. So and that's fine. And obviously, and everybody wants to go, but I would say that these are starting for me to become more like, again, and I'm trying to do this from a position where I'm not sounding like I'm jealous or hating, because I honestly could give two shits about going on. No, I'm dead serious. First of all,
I know you don't care.
I don't care, because here's the thing. I could go to the Bahamas if I really wanted to. I mean, I could say for a year or two. Well, okay, yeah, but I get it. But here's the thing. You maybe not go to. You can't go to the Bahamas, but you can sure go to Poland. And you can get on a plane and you can go to Greece and you can go to Germany and you can go, right? Again, I always tell
visit Jermaine.
Right, you could visit Jermaine in the Netherlands, right? Or Holland or
do that.
Dutch or whatever. They have such an identity there. They call themselves by all sorts of crazy names. And I'm just kidding. I love the Dutch. I love Jermaine. Anyway, but again, it's because it's proximity, right? Because it's so easy to travel inside the European, and you could just it's nothing. You could take a train literally and go. If you're, you can go to Paris. You can go. For me, living in Europe is like kind of like living in the United States. Like I could go, literally, I can get on. I can take a plane. I could drive, which it's a long drive to drive like to Colorado or California. It's like 3 fucking days, right? But I could travel inside the United States and Canada and Mexico if I wanted to, right? But also trips to the Bahamas or Curacao or Puerto Rico or the Dominican Republic or any of those places, right? If you want to go to Panama, Central America, they're not too hard airfare wise. I mean, it's not ridiculous, right? Now flying to like Japan or Europe or Asia, or like, the Middle East, that's a lot of flying. It's very expensive, but my point is though, is if I really wanted to, I could go to the Bahamas on my own. Right. And so I think that these are, for me,
Sam, the question is, if they OnePlus invited you, you'd go.
Well, sure, right? I would go because but I would go just because I get a free trip out of it. But
that's
I would know. Well, again, I'm trying to do this from a position of not being a hater, right?
Yeah.
But people who are those kind of creators could fucking go anytime they want. If you have enough money, and again, if you have enough money
that's
to
the
buy,
question, though, if they have enough money.
Well, here's the thing, and nobody ever does. And so this is what I always tell people, because remember how this works, right? As your income increases, people's standard of living goes up, right? So if you're making $450K a year, you're not going to live in a condo, right? Most people buy a bigger house, get a nicer car, all those kind of things, right? My argument would be for the top tier creators. So we're talking the iJustines, the MKBHDs, the Michael Fishers, those folks. There are millions of subscribers, famous, meet with people, like can land, interviews with CEOs and everybody else. Marquez Brownlee doesn't need OnePlus to pay for this trip. He could literally go anytime he wants to, any place on earth he wants, and he can afford it. Now, he has a large company. He employs a lot of employees, which is great. That's awesome. Because that's cool. He's got a company and a lot of people work for him, and he's helping those people with a job and experience and exposure. It's great. I love all that. I would argue that it's not necessary anymore. These are almost like when they do the launch events, right?
Yeah.
Do people really watch those full? I guess they do for Apple. You know what I mean? But it's not like there isn't going to be a lot of coverage anyway. It's like these people were probably going to cover the OnePlus 13 anyway. Yeah. Now, none of them are going to rock that as a daily driver, or very few of them. Right? Can we all understand? Can we just get a baseline understanding here that most
what do you
people
think OnePlus want from it? Then what's your view on?
I think it's an old business model. I really do. I think it's an old bit. That's what they've always done. We pay for creators. Oh, hey, 5 of the squiggly line monies. I don't even know is that real money? That's euros, right? Oh, yeah, that's real money for sure. Thank you, Jermaine. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you for donating to our cruise. We're gonna need a lot more.
I need to message Lenny because that's 2 weeks running. Thanks.
Right,
Jermaine.
We appreciate that, Jermaine. Thank you so much. And and also he had made a comment before. I absolutely think Jermaine should go on one of these, because at least, maybe not as a traditional phone reviewer, but his camera, and he does review the OnePluses and all his camera capability and all this. I think he would be, at least, especially considering OnePlus is always trying to develop their photography end and like they're a camera phone. I think for having people like that have like Jermaine on there would be a nice good balance. Having some.
I'd like to see Jermaine on a cruise.
Yeah, I'd like to see Jermaine on a cruise. I think so. Or maybe some of these other people like Vivo or Xiaomi. Maybe if they, I don't know. We got to get Jermaine some love. He's got to get on there.
Let's send Scoop on a cruise as well.
Let's send Scoop on a cruise again. Photography, right? He could go in there and he could take some great. I mean, again, some of these creators really, people need some love, right? And so anyway, back to my point. I think the whole having a. I think before like YouTube reviews and tech reviewers got really huge, like before that became a thing, I think you kind of needed to have these launch events because, again, it was really a kind of a way to generate buzz and excitement. But I think now that these brands have become established, the Google Pixels, the Samsungs, the Apples, right? I don't think anybody needs to have a launch event to know what's coming up with Apple. The iPhone 17 is coming up. I'm sure they're going to change. And they are going to keep the 4 form factors unless they do something else, right? It's we all know it. And if we don't watch the live event, which I haven't watched one, you can catch it later, and then everybody's going to talk about it. I mean, how many times has a phone launched when the embargo ends, and literally your notifications just go? I mean, it's just like I get dozens of them, right? So it's not like you're going to miss it. And again, I just don't know.
With this cruise, I think that OnePlus's plan is obviously if you send a load of people on a cruise and then review that device, I don't care what anyone says. If they've taken you on a cruise, it's very hard to then be really negative about that device.
I think,
or at least
there's
for a lot
of
of them, it'll be.
I think a lot of those folks can actually be objectively professional. I really do think.
I think they will, but
but I don't think
in the back of their mind.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, it's if you really want to be an objective reviewer, and you buy all your phones and you go on these cruises. But that's not the point of this, right?
I'd go on the cruise. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I would
be
too.
There all day long.
I mean, if OnePlus sent me an invitation for us to go as a Nomad Tech Project, as podcasters, to go to the, I would totally go. I also
this is where we reveal we're actually on a ship right now.
We're not on a ship.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
And again, I'm trying to. Again, and I hate to say it's because I'm not dogging any of these people. Actually, I love all those folks. I'm quite impressed.
I'm really happy for them. Yeah,
the fact that they can make a business out of and get paid, and some of them get paid quite well to do this. The fact that they can do this is a non-traditional way of doing something they love, but also enjoying it and making money and kind of having exposure and going on cruises and being part of a community,
getting the life experience,
all that stuff, dude. Awesome. It's fantastic. I just don't understand the cruise. Like I said, they're going to send a bunch of people, and it's going to be the same 200 people that you expect. Like, start naming some names of major creators, and I guarantee you they're all going. They're all going to go.
I'll let Jimmy do that. He loves naming creators.
Right. Just name them. Take top 30 and just start rattling off the top 30, and I almost guarantee you. And if you follow their social media channels, you'll see they're taking pictures. A lot of them are taking their spouses. Like I know Adam Matlack took his wife, which is great. And he's taking photos, and it's great. And I saw he took some pictures with him and his wife and just kind of around. And I asked him what kind of camera was he using. And I saw he's using I saw he was looking at the Vivo, so maybe he's using that. I don't know.
Yeah, I bet there's a lot of Vivos there, which is funny because it's a OnePlus cruise.
Right. Well, I mean, here's the thing. OnePlus and all these brands know that most of the people that are going are either iPhone users or Pixel users, or not using them.
Or whatever they're currently testing.
I guarantee you they're going to these events, and like if they go to a Xiaomi event, I cannot think of any creator that's rocking a Xiaomi as their main device. Again, I know they review devices and they have to flip them quickly, and honestly, that's I think the biggest turnoff to me of doing that work. Like, first of all, I don't have the talent. Let's just be clear. I don't have the talent to do it. 2, I don't want to do it. I'm almost 50 years old. I don't that energy is spent on the younger folks, right? And then the third thing is it's you have to constantly switch a phone, and you got to talk about, and your whole life is just nothing but reviewing phones and making videos and putting it out there and talking about it. And just, again, if that's all, if that's your full-time job, great. But the problem is it never ends. The only way it ends is if you make enough money, you can retire and quit doing it. Or like Mr. Who's the Boss. If I were that dude, I would completely stop making videos. He's a millionaire. Let's not kid ourselves here, folks. I think
he really enjoys it. He set up his house for it.
Well, of course. Yeah, and I get it. But he doesn't have to. So what I'm saying, and that's with any job, right? And in order for me to continue to get paid with my current employer, I got to keep showing up for the next 14 years until I retire, right? But I get it.
Yeah.
But I'm on a traditional career path, right? I work for a major organization. I do the work I do, and that's just the way things go. And I don't want to do any of that. That's the reason why we do this show. Like, I don't want to do any of that shit. Oh, my favorite baseball team? Oh, come on, man. Here, I'll help you out. I have something at the ready. That's a coaster. There you go, folks. Favorite baseball team. If you live in St. Louis, probably a Cardinal fan. So, St. Louis Cardinals. That's my favorite baseball team. But to back to this, I'm trying to. Trust me, I'm not speaking about this in a way being jealous, because honestly, I don't give a shit. I could care less. Like, now, if they had a giveaway where they were going to like invite randos, like not creators or whatever, and they said, hey, you and I want a trip to go. Yeah, sure, of course I go. I mean, who would want? And I could take Becky. Hell yeah, it would be fantastic, right? But at the end of the day, it's like, but the fact that they're going and I'm not going, it's not from a jealousy perspective. I just don't understand the concept of it. None of these people
it's hard to get your head around.
And also, here's the thing: that OnePlus 13 is going to be probably a cracking device. I don't think there's really much. Again, back in the day, maybe 10 years ago, there were phones that that weren't really great and had really bad software or really, and there was you had things you could actually talk negatively about because it was legitimately a negative thing, right? Like the Duo. There's a lot of people who got paid by Microsoft. Like iJustine and Jen Azar went to Microsoft. Microsoft had them using the Duo, and they thought it was great, and that was cool. And now go back and watch the video, right? Now, we all know that the Surface Duo had glaring software problems, underwhelming hardware. It was a prototype device. It's a Gen 1 device, and it had switched from they were going to use Windows on ARM to Android, and it was all fucked up like the original Surface Duo. It was just a jacked up mess. So there was a lot to be negative, and people were negative about it.
Yeah.
On the OnePlus 13, I don't think there's going to be a lot of negative stuff. I mean, the OnePlus 12 was such a good device. I think the only thing it'd be negative, it wouldn't be the device's capability. It'd be if they changed something drastic. I remember when they got rid of the alert slider and everybody lost their shit about that. That's what would be the negative. But everybody would just say, hey, look, I personally like the alert slider. They should bring it back.
That swiftly came back, though.
Right, and it did. But as far as the phone's capability, I'm sure it's going to have a really good battery. It's going to have a really good processor. You're going to have, Oxygen OS or Color Me or whatever.
Jermaine's already covered the OnePlus 13.
Yeah.
A bit, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. So what you're saying is like, well, they feel bad because in the back of their head, you're taking a cruise and they won't be as objective. I think that's out the window now because these phones are just so good. It's really hard. You'd have to nitpick. So I don't think
the question's still there. Like, what is OnePlus trying to get out of it? What is in it for them bringing is it just the publicity as they are all on socials? Yeah, because they know that these folks but here they know these folks they're gonna talk about the brand. Do you think they want to make a move in the US? Because it's OnePlus US, isn't it?
They're not gonna do nothing in the US. We've already done this before. We've done it before.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Why is Pixel successful in the United States right now? What are the two main things that you can think about? Well, I mean, they've always been a U.S. brand. They were why is the OnePlus 9 and why does Pixel now have a pretty good foothold in the U.S. right now, as opposed to where because there's commercials. The phone itself is a lot more iPhone-ish, right? The hardware is improved a lot, and the camera's got and it's got really good software features, the Gemini stuff and the AI stuff and AdMe and all, right? It's marketing. You're not going to see a OnePlus commercial in the U.S. Period. End of story. They're not going to be in carriers. They already did all that shit with T-Mobile, and nobody bought them. You know why nobody bought them? Nobody knew about them. Like, you go in the store, you go OnePlus, you go Samsung, Apple, this Pixel, whatever, right? And then this OnePlus. I never heard about. I don't know. And then you find out that OnePlus is a Chinese company, right? And it's a Chinese manufacturer, and I'm telling you, there is some again, you're not marketing the US. You're not going to have a US presence. You're just not.
Fair, Sam, I agree 100% because it's the same in the UK. Even though we get a lot more brands and they're available, doesn't mean people are necessarily buying them.
Like in your store, what do you have other than the three, right? The Apple, Samsung. Right now, if I walked into your O2 shop, not those three, what could I buy? I mean, it doesn't have to be. It can be budget or
Oppo. Actually, O2 have got exclusive network exclusive in the UK. They've got the Find X8 Pro, and that's front and center of the store at the moment. You've also got the Oppo A40 and A60 available. They do Honor, so you've got the V3. You've got the 200 Pro, which I've got one now because I've become an Honor ambassador at work.
You said it was an Honor Hero. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, called Honor Heroes. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
So I've just joined that, and I'll show everyone it. It's got a big old camera housing. Jermaine's actually covered this phone as well, I believe.
It's a plastic back, so I would call this a mid-range, it's
worth.
And honestly, I don't care about
£600.
I don't care about the plastic back. I think that's perfectly fine, especially if you're not paying £1,000 or whatever.
Seems like a nice device. It's got an IR blaster.
IR blaster. So Flossie Carter will be excited because it's got the IR blaster. I know he really likes that.
It does. He does indeed. I think it's going to be a nice phone to play with. Be interesting.
Right.
I'll probably cover it on my channel.
So to my point, so how many
Xiaomi,
do you sell all those phones?
We do regularly? HMD Global.
Yeah, I mean, so you got all those phones, right? So how many people?
No one buys them.
Right, out of 100 people, how many are buying, and not just one of those phones, anything else other than those three?
I say that there is more tech enthusiasts who know what they offer, who do come in and buy them, and people are starting to look at reviews more. Because I had a gent come in and get a Find X8 Pro. And I said, oh, you've picked a really good device there. It's really good value for money. Battery life is meant to be very good. Camera's meant to be very good. And he goes, yeah, I watched a few YouTube videos. It looks really good on there. So people are starting to look at YouTube reviews and make buying decisions.
Doing some research, especially if they're buying phones. But usually it's going to be somebody like, for instance, one of my colleagues at work, she was on Samsung. I talked her and getting a Pixel. So now what's funny is out of the 6 people that work on my team, 5 of them have Pixels now. There's only one person who doesn't, and that she's got an iPhone. But yeah, it's and that's how I think it is. And so I don't know if the Cruise does anything. It doesn't do anything for the US because nobody's buying a OnePlus in the US except for people who already know the brand. They're not going to buy them through a carrier, right? Because they're not available through no, I don't think they're available through T-Mobile. Stop doing stuff with them, right? So they're not going to, because working with US carriers is just a pain in the ass, and they don't want to do it. So again, a lot of these people are American creators because it's YouTube, and they're going to be doing all the work, and they'll talk about the OnePlus 13, and they'll have that big hype push, and they'll probably sell some units, probably more than last year, because I think I've had OnePluses. I love the OnePlus.
They're fantastic, yeah.
But I keep coming back to the Pixel because for me, the Pixel is the best phone that I've used. It just is, and the software is great. And now that I've kind of dug into it, now I've used the Add Me a little bit. That's pretty good. And showing people Add Me, and they're like, "That's incredible, right?"
I think,
and just
I'm going for a stage where I'm getting a little bit bored of Pixel, which is stupid because there's nothing wrong with it. I really enjoy it, really, really enjoy it. But I'm just going for an experimental stage at the moment.
Well, yeah, and I do too. And but the problem with me is, I'm on a carrier that has a whitelist, so I can't just throw my SIM into anything.
Yeah, that's a problem for you. Yeah,
if it did, I would probably be a lot more, or I would have continued to be that more adventurous and exploratory with my phone choices, but I can't because, right? So I guess I don't know. I think the whole Cruise thing is great, and congrats for everybody who went to go. Obviously, if we were invited, I would surely go. We're not going to ever be invited, and that's fine by me because I don't give a rip. Because I don't think it has any. I don't think it moves the needle for probably what OnePlus is paying to have all these people out there and pay for it. The hundreds of thousands of dollars it's probably going to cost them. I don't think, because there's going to be people who are going to review the phone regardless if they were on this cruise or not.
Yeah,
I just don't. I don't think so. I don't think they're going to go, well, since OnePlus isn't doing a launch event, and since they're not paying me to fly to fucking Bahrain or wherever the hell you want to go, or go on a Bahamian cruise to talk about this phone and get some exposure. Here's the thing. Every single one of the people on the cruise has an advanced copy of that phone. Every one of them had that phone.
Yeah.
If you want to celebrate those people and have a cruise to say, hey, we really appreciate you guys, covering the brand and being creators and all that great stuff. Cool. Again, it's their money. I don't give a shit how they spend it, but I think as a business, I would not do that. If I were running OnePlus or I'm running BBK, I would not do that anymore. I think it's an old business model. I think these people are going to review that phone no matter what. And if you really want to, let them come to the launch event, or don't do that at all. Just don't even have launch events anymore. It's like, again, it depends on who you're marketing to, but I don't know.
There must be a reason they do it though, because like you say, Snapdragon have their summit. They bring everyone over to Hawaii.
Sure.
There must be a reason. It must be beneficial. It must be.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know the number side of it.
Well, so Circle Search, yeah, it's stuff like that, dude. Again, for me,
Circle Search on my Honor.
Yeah, it's
and my Samsung.
Yeah, I mean it's it's yeah. I mean, it's
brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, it's really all the Gemini features. So for me, again, I hope they have a good time and enjoy the food and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, I think it's just giving them a little bit of a, hey, we really appreciate you reviewing our phones and giving us really good reviews and, being honest and objective, and that's great. And you know what? It's great for creators because they get free fucking money and a free trip out of it. So they don't give a shit. It's great because again, they're going to do like Eddie and one of us would do if we were offered a Bahamian cruise or a trip to, the Alps, Swiss Alps or something, right? We would obviously go, or if we were offered to go to like, Bahrain or Dubai or any of these places that they go, or IFA, right? They all do that shit because it's their job. It's their job to go to these places and talk about the things and everything else. So good, fine, go for it. I just don't want to be part of that life, and I'm never going to be because I just honestly, again, my barrier to entry is not that it has nothing to do with my want or time sink. It would be the fact that you have to have some level of technical. You have to have some kind of talent to do that. If anybody could do it, everybody would.
Damn it!
Right, you have to be talented.
My chance is gone.
Yeah, you have to be, or at least if you don't have raw talent, you have to find a way to make your videos not only stand out, but be compelling enough for people to continue to follow and watch. Right. That's what it is. And hell yeah, dude, fuck cruises. You send me the Alps, I'm in. I would take that over a cruise any day. First of all, I don't like
the Alps
ships
beautiful,
that much. And second of all, cruises suck. I've been on a couple. They're miserable.
Oh, really? When I used to work for TUI, right, the customers that cruised never wanted to go on a normal holiday ever again.
Yeah, and those people are older usually, right?
Not all of them.
No, but
majority,
most of them. Right, they're older, and like I said, because they're not going to go and they're not going to ski the Swiss Alps, right? No. I mean, here's the thing, and here's the thing. Have you ever seen pictures of Switzerland and the areas in the Alps?
Of course I have,
dude.
It's
completely and utterly silly how beautiful those areas are.
Yeah,
and I would, yeah. So you said, would you rather go to the Bahamas or the Swiss Alps? Not even. I don't have to think about it. It wouldn't take me 4 seconds. I'd be like, hell yeah. Yeah, Switzerland, northern Italy, all those places. Yeah, and see, that's the beauty of it. He's seen with his own eyes, and I'm telling you, man, I would over a cruise. Yeah, and you come over to me and just like these pictures of these lakes and these mountain areas, and it's just like it doesn't even look like real. It's so beautiful. It's almost like it's AI generated. It's really what it's like. And I know Zach.
Jermaine didn't really go. It's like AI.
Oh, is it AI? Yeah, he didn't really go. He's just lying.
He didn't really go.
But like I said, Zach talks tech. He's in Canada, right? And he's in this area where he's this really nice lake. That's where he's at. And it's a beautiful area. And it's pretty close. Jeez, are you all right? You going to die there? Jesus. Wrong pipe. Just go on mute for like 20 minutes. That's fine. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it just looks beautiful. So at the end of the day, I don't know. I just don't know how much the cruises really help. I really just think, yeah. I mean, if I was offered, sure, but I don't think it has as much bang for a buck as maybe 10 years ago it did. I don't think it does anymore. I think without the exposure on YouTube and the way it's structured, I just don't think it's. I don't think they're going to get. Yeah, I don't think they're getting bang for the
Bali, wasn't it?
I don't remember. Like, honestly, I can't keep it. Honestly, here's the thing: it almost takes more energy to keep that shit straight. Like, I can't keep it straight. Who's First of all, I know that David Kogan, the unlocker. Homeboy lives on a fucking plane. I'm surprised he just doesn't buy his own plane. Wow,
well, that was weird.
Yeah, I know. I bent over and just like it's out of focus. Anyway, I mean, he's literally every time I turn around, he's flying here, flying there, flying there, flying there, flying there. He's always on a plane, always flying to somewhere, flying to California, flying to Dubai, flying to London, flying to New York, he lives in New York, but just flying around. It's like he's always like on a plane. It's just almost comical.
You're not wrong. He does fly to New York. He goes home eventually. So
right. He's fly to New York, but that's just a return flight.
Yeah.
But he's always on a plane. Like, so it's, it's fine. And, these people that, have these channels and they're great. And then we've met some of them. And they seem to be just regular folks. I mean, they're very nice. They're down to earth. They're pretty easy to talk to. Like I said, you met more than I did. But honestly, if we went to that thing, do you think we're honestly going to be able to sit down and talk to all these people? No,
yeah, they'd be all over us, mate. They'd be like, "Wait a minute,
right?
Is that Sam from the Nomad Tech Project?"
Yeah, you guys are from Nomad Tech Project. We've dying to meet you. Right? I'm pretty sure that wouldn't happen anyway. But it sounds good. So enough of that. Enough of that horse shit.
You was telling me about a phone you got your eye on.
Right. So I'm gonna share the screen.
Device.
I'm gonna present. And actually, speaking of this, I saw it on Adam Matlock's Twix. So it's called the Minimal Phone. I think it looks pretty slick. So basically, it looks like essentially an e-ink it looks like an e-ink Key 2 is what it looks like. So it's just a screen, and you just basically it's $399 for pre-order. It looks like a startup, and basically it's kind of like a productivity device, right? It doesn't have a lot of cameras, so for all you photography people out there, it doesn't have zoom and space zoom and moon zoom and all this other shit. It's got one camera in the back, 16 megapixel, right? It's basically designed to be essentially a phone to communicate. It's a communications tool, but it's using e-ink, which I think is nice. Clearly it's not content consumption. I think is not the primary purpose of this phone. No. But it's nice. You get your keyboard. You get
it looks like a business device to me.
It could be a business device. But yeah,
has it got a headphone jack? Actually,
you got a headphone jack. So you got full Android access. You got e-ink, dual convenience. So you got 2 lines. You got dual SIMs, right? And then you have, it's productivity, but durability, right? So it's got grip. The back's grippable. You got all your connectivity. You got your Bluetooth, your Wi-Fi, your NFC, your 5G. Now I notice I don't see 5G. So this is not a 5G device. It doesn't look like it's 4G. But who gives a shit?
Yeah, to be honest, 4G is a more stable network.
Dude, it's $400, right?
Yeah.
You got this, and then here's some technical specs. So it's full QWERTY keyboard. You got a MediaTek Helio G99. You got the Mali core. All right, you got your basic MediaTek set, 6 gigs of RAM, 128 of storage, and I think you do have expandable storage, right? So again, who gives a shit if it's 128? Because you can go buy a goddamn SD card. Boom, you're
fingerprint
in.
Scanner.
Right? Fingerprint scanner on the side.
Yeah,
get your just 1 megapixel. It's got a flash, right? Your 5 megapixel camera. Look at the placement of it. It's down here. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that.
What's
now
that?
That may mean that's the camera. The selfie camera is down here. It's at the bottom left of the phone. So
okay.
Right. So you'd have to essentially, if you want to take a selfie, you'd have to probably flip it upside down or just take the selfie from there. Because again, if you have this phone, you're not killing selfies, folks. This is not your Instagram duck face selfie vlogging. Okay. That's not what this is.
That is a very strange position though, Sam.
It's a very strange position. I agree, but I don't think not a blocker or a deal breaker for me, and then you got the camera, and again, got your 5.2 Bluetooth. You got all this shit. Again, the only reason I don't want to get it is because I'm sure AT&T won't support the fucking thing because AT&T sucks ass, and fuck AT&T right in the ass, because they should that whitelist is stupid. Because how many people are not gonna how many people are gonna be rocking this phone on your network? Why? I don't understand. You don't have to certify it. I totally get it, but just let people just use if it's a GSM SIM. Fuck it, just let them use it like they used to. Why block them? I mean, how much money are you losing? And most of the time, if people are using this phone or other kinds of phones, they're probably going to have an AT&T branded phone anyway. Or you're going to be like me, and I didn't buy a phone from AT&T. I was just using an unlocked, Moto. You're not going to. So whatever. It's just the whole point is stupid. So you got that. You get your fingerprint lock on the side. 3,000 milliamp battery. So again, not a big battery, but it's e-ink. So
Yeah. So it should last.
You got some pretty good charging speeds. You got your headphone jack, dual SIM.
I feel like 400's a bit steep though for it.
You really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, here's the thing: for a startup company, I don't think it's that bad. I honestly, 400 quid's pretty good. I mean, again, this isn't going to be a phone for probably a lot of people, but for people like me who want a physical keyboard, who kind of like the whole BlackBerry aesthetic and really don't care about cameras, I think it's cool because it's just unique, right? How many e-ink phones you see? It's got a headphone jack. It does what it's supposed to do. Again, for a person like me who isn't really into the camera experience and doesn't really care about that, this is great. Yeah, $399 is probably terrible, but I mean, who knows? I just think
animations on the website.
I just like the fact that there's another company who's trying to start up, who's trying to basically fill a niche or at least do something that's different, right? This is a completely different situation, right? It's going to be kind of a basic phone. I'm curious to see how the keys work.
Jermaine said the same though. He said, "Why would someone buy this for $399 though?"
I understand that, but why would they buy any phone for $400?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we're not selling this for $899 or $699 or $1099 or again, why
I think it should be $299.
What this is this is such that price point shit is so triggering to me. I can't even believe it. Why the fuck does it matter if it's less? It's out. I don't think it's worth. I'm not paying $399, but $299 I would. Who
Don't get me wrong, Sam. I don't think any phone should be the price they are.
Well, no, there should any car. Go buy a car in the United States that's brand new.
It's true.
None of these cars should be. The average new price of a car in the United States is literally like $40,000. Who the fuck is spending $40,000 on a car? I don't.
Yeah.
But again, you mean to tell me that this is a good idea? But man, it'd be a really great idea if it was $249. Why not just be $99 and why don't I just send you one and you just give it to you and then you don't have to buy it?
What does this offer over another phone that
it's a fact?
I mean, the
it's
keyboard
completely unique from anything else. And some people don't need all that fancy dancy bullshit. Right?
So what I'd say TCL do their Next Paper devices. So they sort of cover
is it like a tablet or is it more like a phone?
They do a phone and tablet.
Yeah, you get a TCL. I would buy
Ted's
that.
covered it. And it's like it can do this type of thing for the screen. It doesn't have a keyboard, mind, so that is something missing. I don't know if it has a headphone jack or not, but it obviously has cameras. Has probably a higher resolution screen. I mean, it's an interesting device, definitely. I mean, as a tech enthusiast, I quite like the keyboard.
Well, again, and I think they're trying to leverage this as a kind of a minimal phone, where it's more like
hence the name.
Also because it doesn't have. You're probably not going to really. I mean, you probably could watch YouTube, but I mean, it's going to be e-ink, right? And it's probably going to refresh weird. But this is more for. So what do we want, folks? We complain. Everybody complains about everybody in their phone too much, unlocking their phone too much, living on TikTok, living on Instagram, doing all this bullshit. Here comes a device, right? Because remember, if you get a regular phone at $399 and it does all the things that a regular phone does, you're going to do all the things that a regular phone does. This gives you a chance that if you're trying to, because if you're not able because you don't have the stones, right? You don't have the stones to like be minimal on your browser or be minimal in your usage, right? And kind of like focus on not being on your phones more, being more present. If you can't do it because it's hard to break that, like it's hard. If you have a phone like this, got a new skin by the way. But yeah, if you have a phone like this, it's real hard when you have all the capability to self-regulate and not use that capability.
So you said about cruises being for older people, right? Do you think this could be a good device for the older people who want a smart device, but not a smartphone?
Because of the physical keyboard, I think older people would really struggle with the texting with it. I don't
know. Maybe they wouldn't know.
They could. I mean, I can tell you. I think
they'll get on better with that than they would on-screen keyboard.
Right, and I think that's a valid argument. Like I said, you can make that, right? You can sell it to older folks who really don't need all that. It's really just like I said. It's again. I get Jermaine's point, and it's completely valid. Why the hell wouldn't you have a phone? But again, if you want to scale down your phone usage and you really want to minimize that, right? If you want to minimize that, this is a way. This gives you a vector to do that because you don't have. I'm sure watching videos on this screen is not going to be something you're going to want to do. So you're probably going to less do that, right? And again. I don't work for these people. Whatever. But here's the thing. I understand that $399, you're probably like, wow, that's a little bit too much. But this is a startup company. They need to pay creditors. They probably have to borrow money. They have to pay off these phones. And they're probably not going to make a lot. There's probably not a lot of profit margin in here. It's probably the cost to build is probably close to $300 or like.
Tell you what, Sam. If they send me on a cruise, I'll review it.
Right. It's two dudes, man. Apparently, it's two dudes. So I have no skin in this game. Like I don't give two shits about whether this company lives or dies, right? It doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah.
But if you're the kind of person who sits there and goes, well, it's not enough competition in marketing. Well, then fuck you, because then if that's the case, then you should jump on shit like this, because that's how it's an
interesting device, definitely. I would like to see some more devices with a physical keyboard, if I'm honest. I would like to see it.
Right. I would too. But I mean, but if you did, but then you got, the problem is people always want more. right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's okay to have a niche device. It was okay to have a Windows phone. It was okay to have a BlackBerry,
Yeah.
right? It's okay to have a phone that has, like the LG Wing. It's okay to have phones like that. But the problem is you get buried in this thing where it's, and again, in mind, again, I'm not going to. I don't. Yeah, again, $400 is a lot of money for folks. But if $400 is too much money that you don't want to spend, you shouldn't be spending any money on any phones. Go buy go buy the Moto G Stylus, right? Or go buy the Moto G Power or the Play. Solid phones. You can get it for like $190 or like $150 probably in a used market. And that thing will last. I know a lot of people have just basic Moto phones and they're solid. And I've had Moto G Stylus. I love the Moto G Stylus. I think it's a really good phone.
I'd love to be a motivator because I'd love to try some more of their devices.
Right. I mean, but again, the point of this is we've lost a bunch of OEMs, the LGs, the BlackBerries, the HTCs. We've lost all these OEMs that were willing to go to great lengths, not in the foldable space, right? Because, but they were, well, I mean, Moto's got the flip.
We've kind of lost Huawei because the Google services thing.
Well, because the U.S. government sucks and they want to ban Huawei. But here's the thing: if you're going to go with Huawei, then ban them all, right? Ban BBK, ban all that shit, right? It's not just Huawei.
Please.
I know they. Yeah. Well, they'll ban in the U.S., of which you're not a resident, so you won't really care if they ban them in the U.S.
Yeah, but if they don't have Google services, it's no good to me, sadly.
Right. Well, unfortunately, they probably are not going to do that because it just. But again, I'm not, and again, I'm not saying that anybody should go and buy this phone. And if it's $400 is not too much money, it's too much money for what they're offering, fine. Don't. But then realize that companies that try to get into this market and try to at least offer something that, because here's the thing, they would have no chance if they were just offering a basic phone.
If you ordered one,
there's too many phones, huh?
Have you ordered one?
No, I have not. No, because I have AT&T. I know it won't work on their network. So if I ordered it, it will not work. So until I find somebody who ordered one and then says, yeah, I was able to use it on this network, that's fine. But what I'm saying, it's just, if you're not going to support companies like this and startups and trying to give them a couple extra quid because they are a startup, because they don't have economies of scale, they don't have all that kind of stuff. Not really. When it comes to phones, you got more than I do. So like
not anymore. Sam, not anymore. I've got two that I've been given free. One's a loan, or two of them are loan phones. This one I need to get rid of to fund I want to get a camera.
Okay, there you go.
But yeah, no, I'm cutting right back.
No, and again, like I said, this is how I see the world. You don't have to see the world this way. You don't have to agree with me. That's fine. You can and like I said, no, I'm just saying for other people. But my argument would be then when OEMs drop off, or there's no competition in the market and you're stuck with whatever you're stuck with, realize that those arguments, if you're not supporting things like that, again, is it worth $490 or $409 with tax? Probably not. Yeah, and again, it's a novelty.
Yeah.
I get that. But
to the right person, it is worth it, though. It is worth it.
Well, so is a fucking Bugatti. It's worth it to somebody. I'm sorry, I wouldn't spend $390,000 on a car. I don't give a fuck what it is. Even if you're like, well, if you had millions of dollars, you would. I go, no, I probably wouldn't, because it's just stupid. Like for me, it makes no sense, because at the end of the day, all a motor vehicle is to get you from point A to point B, right? And then you can go, we can go 204 miles an hour. You're not going to go to the grocery store like that, right? And if you live in the UK, I mean, if I had a Mustang they sell Mustangs in the UK, but it doesn't look like there's any roads that you can drive them on, because every road's really small, or you got the M25, which is always clogged full of cars, right? It's really not designed for roads in the UK. It just isn't, right?
Yeah.
And and you bought a Steam Deck for $325. Again, great, but again, I think the price point is where I think we're missing it. Again, I think if this phone was $99, I don't think you'd buy it even if it was $99. I don't think you'd buy it if it was $90.
I'd be tempted at $90.
No, you might, and you wouldn't use it, because right. So again, if I just made that argument that if it was $100, you still wouldn't buy it, and even if you did buy it,
I might buy it. I probably wouldn't use it.
Wouldn't use it. You wouldn't use it because of two main reasons. One, the display completely sucks, and it's and it's not going to have.
No, I wouldn't say it sucks. It just doesn't meet my needs.
it doesn't meet your needs, and it's also the camera wise. I'm sure that's going to be a potato camera because it's not for that. No. So when people say to me, "Well, $490 a little bit too much," if it was $299, I'd buy it, or if it was $199, I'd buy it. I said, "No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't buy it if it was $100. If they gave it to you, you would not use it. You would use it for a couple of days.
If they gave it to me, I'd use it
maybe
for
a week or two." You would use it for a week or two, and then it would go on the shelf because you aren't the kind of person that can use a phone like that. Whereas a person like me, I could use a phone like that and be perfectly fine with it because the things that you need, I don't. Right? And so if that's the argument, if I just basically said, if this was $100, would you use this for 6 months and not use any other phone? The answer is a flat out fuck no. No. The price point's not point. Then the price point is irrelevant. And I just beat you. I just beat your argument because that's not the point.
I wasn't
the
arguing.
Point is, no, I'm saying
you're arguing with yourself, Sam.
Right. No, there's folks in the chat like, what's too much money? I'm like, you wouldn't buy it if it was $100. It's not a price point problem. The problem is with everything else.
It's a product problem. It's shit, Sam.
It doesn't match what you need for a phone. And for the thing like anything else with cars, everybody needs a different car. Some people need a truck because they do it for work, or people like having an SUV because it's safer, right? They're up higher. A lot of women buy larger SUVs in the United States. SUVs are a thing. That's why Ford doesn't even make a fucking car anymore. The only Ford car that's made is the Mustang. They don't make cars because Americans don't buy cars. They buy these big honking trucks and SUVs and all this other shit. Oh, speaking of that, funny story is, did you see the report about the Ford GTD? Is the first American car to do the Nürburgring in less than 7 minutes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, less than 7 minutes. It did 3 laps in the Nürburgring, and actually, have you seen the Ford GTD? It's a wild car.
It's cars that much.
I know. Well, it's because you live in the UK.
Yeah, might be.
People in the UK aren't into cars because you can't drive them anywhere. I get it. It's fine. Yeah. So this. You're
gonna show us it.
No, I'm just gonna show you the article because
I thought you were gonna screen.
Well, I can do that, but I'm not gonna show you the video because I don't know how videos work on this. But anyway, let's check this. Well, just you can see the car. Well, where the fuck is hold on a minute. Give me a second here. I just thought it was cool, and you know what? And God love him. You know what was great? Friend of the show. I got a text from Scoop about it. He goes, "Hey, did you see the thing about the GTD? I'm like, fuck yeah, of course I did. So I'm trying to find where it actually has a picture and not there's a video. I'm trying to find an image of the car.
There's no images. Oh God.
Well, it's a video.
Going that fast.
Here we go. Here we go. So, here we go. This is, let me see if I can share this. All right, let me cancel, share screen. I guess, hold on a minute. I suck at this. This is not what I'm good at.
We don't do this often, guys.
We don't do this. Let's see, view image. All right, so there, I can do that. That'll work. So now I have the GT. Okay, cool. So that's the car.
Dun, dun, dun. It's like a Batmobile.
Dude, yeah,
it's like
ceramic brakes. This thing, and here's the thing: Ford sold a couple of these. They sold 1,900 of them, and they sold them for their $300,000. You could buy this car. You can drive this
the front of it. I love that front of it.
It's a badass ride. So, anyways, it did the Nürburgring in less than 7 minutes. I think it 4 seconds. It was like 6:57 point. It was like just under 7 minutes. But it's the first American-made car to do the Nürburgring in less than 7 minutes. And so Ford was like, we're going to be back next year. That's kind of cool. So yeah, congratulations to that. And of course, as a Mustang enthusiast, I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Looks nice.
But yeah, it's kind of cool. So let's see. Oh, hey, Luis is in chat. I have a coworker who recommended TCL 30 for years ago, and he loved it only for YouTube and emails, and he broke the screen last
Orlando.
week. Orlando. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Orlando. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Tech for Your Needs. I'm sorry. Yeah. So yeah. He broke the screen. Oh, we got it for $12. Well, there you go. An A19. Well, it's an A19. Is that like the most basic? Isn't that the most basic Samsung phone? The A12. I never even heard of the A12.
Yeah, it's very old now because on the
A25.
A25.
I mean, for a person like that who's just doing that basic stuff, I guess the
Yeah.
A series phones would probably be pretty good. And that's what I'm saying is, like, he's made the comment. It's like he's right. It's a phone for everybody, right? And so for folks like you, yeah, $400, I wouldn't buy it, but I just think it's kind of fascinating. And for me, I do struggle sometimes, not always, because at work I just get too busy. Like my job is just too busy. I don't even look at my phone that much. But for folks who are trying to they have minimal launchers or minimal, like they don't want to be on their phones as much. I don't really know how many. I think a lot of people say that, but I don't think a lot of people really want to do that. I think it's one of those things.
Phone.
It's the what? The A06?
A06 is a bad phone.
Oh, well, this is the 12, right? So this is probably a little bit, this is probably a little bit more, right? Well, it's the 12, so it's probably a little bit better. But I get it. And let's see, I want to see his comment. The issue you have is the service on the phone. Yeah, if it's a novelty, it's almost going to be right. I totally agree the price was right. Right. Well, again, unfortunately, I have AT&T. So if I had T-Mobile, I would for $399 to help this company out to see if it was pretty good, I would give it a try. I mean, what the hell, right? And yeah, you could lose on it. I mean, I like the Essential phone. I thought it was cool. It's a shame that they couldn't kind of keep that thing going because I love that device. I thought the Essential.
What do you think of Fairphone, Sam?
I've never had a Fairphone. I've seen them.
What do you think of the concept?
Like a modular one?
Yeah.
I think that has some. I don't know. I mean, I think it's a great concept. It's just really it comes down to how does that look in practice, right? Because remember we had the Motos that had all the mods, right? The Friends. I think that was pretty cool. Moto mods, and then like G5 had the Friends. I think those could really work. It's just that when you, first of all, are they available? Do they make a lot of sense? And can you get them easily? But I thought like on the back of that Moto, they had like a JBL speaker. I thought that was pretty amazing. And then they had one that had speaker. I think the one had a projector. I mean, that's kind of cool. That's the kind of stuff. It's like, I understand that's not for everybody. And I realize it really kind of,
I would love that, man.
It's really kind of it's hard to get people to buy that because not everybody wants that kind of stuff. And it's hard when you're doing that real niche kind of stuff. But man, how cool is that? I mean, if you're a tech person, like you're an enthusiast, I'm not saying spend your money because I know folks, I mean, things are expensive, in the world, right? Right now, I get it. You don't want to dump a bunch of money about shit that you know you're going to use. But I just saw that Adam Matlock did the thing about the minimal phone. And I think I'm like, full QWERTY keyboard, e-ink, which is kind of cool, all that stuff. I get excited about that. Like I saw it and I was like, man, I'm kind of like, that's exciting to me. Now, I mean, and would I try it if I knew it worked on AT&T, I would absolutely try it because I think it's kind of cool, right? Would I run into the problem I run into now with the Pixel? Like I got a great camera, I got all these features. Yeah, I would struggle with that but I'm also, willing to try to give these people a little bit of, I don't know. Honestly, I'd rather hear more about that than a OnePlus 13 because I already know what the OnePlus 13 is going to be. It's going to be iteration, better. It's going to have the Snapdragon HN55. It's going to have the new processor, 50 gigs of RAM. It's going to have it's going to charge at 900 watts and it's going to charge from 0 to full in 8 seconds, right? Again, but I think we're getting to the point where we're capped out on. It's just okay, what can you really do? Nothing. It's iterative, right?
That's plateaued a little bit. I get it.
So it just gives you something that kind of, I don't know. It's something exciting. And I think it's kind of cool. And for folks that are trying to basically get to a point of being more minimal and more using their phone less and more using it for what it is a communication and productivity tool, just, not crushing TikTok videos all day. I don't know. It gives them an option where they can.
Sam, you've seen some of the rumors. You've spoken about this before, right? About an Apple Flippy Dippy, about a patent on a hinge or something about a hinge I saw.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
design.
Patents. Yeah, I mean, I see. I mean, Microsoft's had a lot of patents too for stuff that I guess they just want to get ahead of. That maybe it's development they're never actually going to bring to market. But
an Apple Flippy Dippy, you said it's coming. And the rumor I saw was 2026.
Yeah, well, that's next year, and I don't think it's coming that quick. If it comes that quick, that means one thing. That means Apple already has prototypes. They're already working on it, and they already have sourced materials, and that's already a thing. It's already in their pipeline. Because there's no way it's coming out in a year for a launch event, or maybe at the end of a year, like with whatever WWDC. I think that honestly, I think they're paying attention to a couple things. One, that the iPhone 16 just is really not landing well because people are just tired of like the same ass iPhone. I think people, and it's coming from iPhone people, which is really fascinating.
Yeah.
So if they're coming out, if they're the rumor is 2026, that means they already have something working at Cupertino. They already have working prototypes. They already have hardware. They've already sourced materials. They already, again, the good part is they don't have to worry because remember, it's not a foldable. It's just a flip. Right. So the only thing they have to do with the software in iOS is to get the outside screen to work, because when you flip it open, you're back to iOS, right? Which is great.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that's kind of nice about Apple is because the hardware and the software, because they're only dealing with one OS and they don't give a shit about any other OEM hardware, it's easier for them to develop this stuff. That's why it doesn't make any sense why they haven't. I think for the first time they're starting to see online. I think online they're starting to see that a lot of people, especially women, right, especially their consumers, are really looking for something new. I'm telling you, if they make, I don't know what they call it. I'll probably call it, I'd call it the iFlip. That's what I would call it. I'm sure they won't. Whatever. They call it the iPhone 17 Flip. Fine, whatever. I guarantee you, you put that in stores and you run ad campaigns, they'll sell millions of them. Millions. Even if it's not that good, even if it's a prototype device, it doesn't matter. And I would tell you probably more, and again, you can say what you want. You can call me what you want. I don't care. I think that resonates with women a lot more because of the fact that that gives them that whole form factor, right? They do that. And I think, yeah, if they make an iFlip or Flip I, that would be cool. Flippy dippy. That's what you call it. No. I think an iFlip, that's what I would call it. But I'm sure they'll come up with something else. But
yeah, I'm sure
if they did that, they'll sell tens of millions of them.
I reckon so.
If nothing else, because it's different. Hence the minimal phone, right? It's a different thing.
The other thing that I've seen recently is Snapdragon, Google, and Samsung have teamed up to do the Android AR. Was it XR, isn't it?
Yeah. I think
to keep an eye on.
I still think for right now the best thing is AR glasses, like the Meta Ray Bans. I think is kind of like, I think that's the more.
I think more's coming. I think more's
coming. I think that a full headset, I don't think we're there yet. I think people just can't. It doesn't have practicality, right? And if it doesn't have practicality, then it's not going to sustain anything. The reason why cell phones is where they are is because they have practicality on top of the fact, right? They're practical. They make phone calls, and text messages, all that shit.
Well, they've become essential in our lives now. Like, it is massive.
They're probably more essential than probably almost any tech that you own in your home. You can get away with there's a workaround literally for everything in the world in your home. Like if you don't have a dishwasher, you can wash your dishes and have a drying rack, right? You can wash your clothes. It sucks, but you could wash them in a manual and hang dry, right? You could do all that. But in your house you have a landline, which I mean maybe I don't know. Do you still even have a landline? Do you even have?
No, I could have, but I don't have.
Right, neither do I. I could as well. But what I'm saying is it's the fact that is become a communications tool that you can take with you. But in your house, there's everything you do in your house, you could literally manually do, right? You can manually wash your dishes. You can manually wash your clothes. You can, manually cook a meal. You could use a fire, right? You don't need a gas stove right? And you refrigerator. You could use an ice box. They did it back in the 1800s. Like put a block of ice in it, keep shit cold, right? Again,
I mean, even if you want a hot bath, you could heat up some water in the kettle.
Right. You just put it in a big thing and just heat it up, right? But what I'm saying though is, the phone gives you ability to have communications outside of your home, right? You're not stuck to a landline. And so I think it's that and the personal computer.
They've become much more than a communication device, though, haven't they? They've become much more.
It's way past all that. And I don't think these companies even understood. Well, and again, look at how much technology they wound up getting rid of. I mean, your phone basically it basically destroyed any kind of MP3 player. It destroyed the Zune and the iPod, right? It's destroyed cameras, right? A lot of people don't buy point and shoot cameras anymore. I mean, they should. No. I think you should still have a standalone, even if it's a little point and shoot, or, little like a Fuji or a Canon, some small little camera, a dedicated camera that isn't attached to your phone. I just think you should. And at the end of the day,
in the chat.
Hey, Ace, how you doing, sir? Hope you feel better soon. We'll hopefully get you on really quickly, and I appreciate you reaching back out to us and even willing to come on the show. So we appreciate you. So hopefully you still feel better soon. But I mean, look at the cell phone basically killed a lot of technology, right? So
Loads, yeah.
loads. And so I think between that and the personal computer, and the internet, those are the three major contributing. That's that is the most incredible tech. Also flight, like, the advent of commercial flight, right? Because now you can get anywhere, you can talk anywhere, and you can be practically anywhere. I mean, look at Teams. I mean, you can have Teams calls, you can have meetings. I mean, it also, look at the technology in like Teams, right, or whatever, or Zoom. It killed any reason to travel. You used to have to, if you went to conferences, you had to go and, like, if you want to meet people, you had to fly to their offices and go in the conference room and meet them, right? Now you don't have to. You can work from home. You can put a headset on. You can talk to somebody if they live in a satellite office in the UK. If you have a London branch, you can get on the phone with them and share your screen. They can see what you're doing. You can have a communication. Now, is it the same as meeting them in person?
That's what I was going to say. The only thing.
It's never not, and it's never going to be. But for raw communication and raw sharing of information, it does the job, and it costs nothing.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, when I was a kid, making a landline telephone call, like a toll call, it costs like $8. Sometimes like $2.99 a minute or $3.99 a minute, right? And if you were calling like the UK, you could make a phone call to London if you want to, but man, it was extraordinarily expensive. It was like literally $10 a minute or some crazy shit back in the day. Now, because of all this, it's really great. So I get, and then again, so everybody who understands in the chat, like mine, everybody, and Jermaine, to talk about the price point on that minimal phone, totally valid argument. I get it. However, their argument can be made that if you're a person who really wants to try something different, or maybe looking to get into a more minimal lifestyle, maybe it might be a nice companion device, right? You keep that, and then I don't know. I mean, if we're talking about trying to disconnect from our devices and have more of a healthy balance in our personal lives and social media and having mental health and engagement and everything else, I don't know. It's really going to be hard to kind of plow through all that kind of engagement when you're on an e-ink display. It's really going to be hard to do when you're trying to, I mean, I get it. It's not for everybody. It may not be for most, but I don't know. I think it still has value. So we'll see. Hopefully they, and if anybody's interested and they want to see it, I think Adam made a video. He met with them. I guess they flew him out and they met with him directly, and they let him look at the phone and pitched it.
Minimal, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess he's really, I guess kind of like almost a brand ambassador for them kind of thing. And he does a good job. I think he's realistic about it. But remember, he's a big Bluetooth, a BlackBerry guy. So anything
he is.
Yeah, he's got a physical keyboard. He's into it. Like, and I am too. I like physical keyboards. I'm curious. Do you think that the Clicks, do you think they should ever make an Android version of Clicks, do you think?
I don't know if they will. If they do, it'll just be for Samsung, maybe. Right. That's the thing. It's difficult, isn't it, because remember, it's a case. So it's difficult to make it for all Android devices. It'd have to be, unless it's just something that goes on the bottom and clips on, maybe. I mean, I'd be down for that. I'd want to buy it.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is like, I make sure Amazon has to push the Kindle in the direction. Right. I understand. Like, like any of those tablet. Like my wife had a Nook, the reader. Yeah. It's got an e-ink screen. I don't know why I think it's pretty cool. And hers actually, we couldn't. She shares books with my mother-in-law, and the one she bought, and it wouldn't, for some reason, this Nook, and it's old, so that's probably part of it. It would not like recognize the new book that she had purchased. It wouldn't like download it to her Nook. So
that's disappointing.
She did it on her iPhone, but I think I might look into getting like an updated Nook. But yeah, I don't know why they don't like the Kindles and stuff. I don't know why Amazon doesn't push those more. I think a lot of people really like those e-readers, especially if they're on cruises. Or
I'll tell you why, because they're always pushing bloody Audible.
Right. Well, I love.
They always push. How many emails do you get about a free trial on Audible?
Oh well, I have Audible. I've had Audible for a while, and I say this is the two things I like about Audible. First of all, like if I'm reading, even now, here's like I don't. You know what I use for reading? I use my Surface Duo because then I get Kindle books. I use Duo as my reader, but one is reading puts me to sleep. Like I get tired. Like if I start reading something, like I'll start to fall asleep, even if it's the middle of the day. It really puts me to sleep. And the second thing is, it seems like it's I can't do it while I'm driving. Like I drive, I can get about 50 minutes to work, one way. So, and also what I like about the Audible is two things. Well, three things. One, it's usually it's really read by the author. which is kind of cool.
I like that. Yeah.
Because they also sometimes throw extra shit in there that talk about why they did something, like in one book I read, it was by it was David Goggins wrote a book, and he has the guy that's co-writing it with him. But after every chapter, they on the Audible book, now it might be in the regular book, I don't know, but they actually talk about why they did this and why they did that, and you know, with their right. It's nice. You get a little extra oomph in the audiobooks, but also too for a person like me is I can listen to it in the car. It's almost like a podcast. I can get through a book. Some of these books are like really big, but it's 14 hours. Some of the books I really like.
Audible appeals to me because I don't like
hard
reading.
For me to read. I love to read. I'm just not great at it. I'll tell you who loves to read is my wife. If she gets when she gets a book on the Nook that her mom gets, and it might be 275 pages, Becky will read through that in 2 days. She'll just
Lauren can read.
Yeah, Becky's a huge reader, and I really wish I had that dedication. If I try to do that, I probably wouldn't make it out of the first 10 chapters because I'd be asleep. It just causes me to go to bed. I don't know what it is. No matter what, if it's a physical book, not a magazine, but an actual book, or an e-reader, or a Kindle, or a Duo, whatever it is. If I'm reading after about 20 minutes, I'm done. I'm out. So Michael Pepper texted in chat. Hey, Mike, how you doing, sir? He said, "Hey, we go for simply for recording. Prop it up out of tripod." Hell yeah! See, that's something I didn't think about. That I don't use as much, but yeah, prop it up for recording, especially for people who like to do selfies or video or whatever. They can put it on a table and they can, angle it to where they need it to be, and they can do all the recording, and that's cool. Like I'm telling you, Apple, I don't think they'll ever make a foldable. I still don't think they'll do it, but I think they're stupid if they don't make a flip. I think they'll sell a ton of them. That's just me. And they sell a ton of Kindles. Yeah. Well, good. I said I think it's a Kindle. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, that's a lot of people. Some people are too lazy to read, or people just don't. It's not practical for them to read, and it's just kind of nice. Mm-hmm. I'm not a reading guy. I definitely can hear. Oh yeah, and that's why I like it. Again, for me, that's why I like the Audible. I really do. Yeah, and I do have an Audible, and I actually have the subscription, so I get a credit every month, and I've been doing that for a long time, and I've got like a great library of stuff. Actually, I've been listening to a couple of books recently that are really, really good, and also I like too that. They had a series that they were not books, they were more like lectures, like university lectures. And the one it was about religions. And I listened to a lot about Buddhism, which I thought was a fascinating kind of listen. So it was pretty good. So again, like I said, we have all this tech, and I think we should just embrace the fact that it's not for everyone, and that's okay. We have phones for people who are looking for minimal things, or budget phones, people who don't want to spend, who the thought of spending more than $300 on a phone is crazy to them. Right. And then you got people like us that like $1,800 for a Pixel 9 for a Pro Fold. Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, let's get two of them, right? It's like it's crazy, right? But it's cool. Like I said, it's good just having the conversations, and also the conversation with our folks, right? People who have different opinions. Like I don't agree with somebody's take sometimes. The thing that really bothers me is it may not be your cup of tea. The price point argument always does not land with me, because I can find so many arguments against it, even with motor vehicles and everything else. There's things in some of these things, like especially in women's fashion, right? Some of these things, like I went with my wife one day to a Kate Spade. She wanted a Kate Spade. Oh yeah, Kate Spade. Like $500 fucking purse. Again, why? The only reason why is because they're good quality. There was a nice, it's green. It's a nice purse, but because it's a Kate Spade, right? Because it has. That's what it is. When you walk around, it's a Coach or whatever, and that matters to people. And again, so when it comes to price points of stuff, it really isn't about its practicality. It's really, there's a lot of other things that go into it. So I always tell people, and that transcends throughout not fashion, but cars, tech, appliances, right? Somebody would want to spend, like, some of these people have like $3,000 for a Samsung fridge. And first of all, if you buy any Samsung appliance, you're an idiot. Sorry, no offense. Samsung makes great phones, make great displays. Their appliances, total shit. They're garbage. Don't buy one. They're like $3,500.
I think their fridges aren't bad.
No, I tell you, if anything, maybe their washers and dryers are probably okay. Their refrigerators are horrible.
Oh, really?
Oh, God.
They look great.
They look great, but then they don't last for 18 months. And then you have a part that breaks, and then it's all on back order. I got a
Samsung microwave.
I bought a Samsung fridge about like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
From Lowe's. Real quick story. And after like 12 months, like it just wasn't getting cold. And I found it was something with the compressor.
That's shit.
Right. 12. So yeah. And anyway, so I called Lowe's, and you know what Lowe's told me? Well, we could replace it. However, that exact part is on back order, and there's 10 other people waiting for it. So I can't get that part.
That says a lot.
3 weeks. Yeah, because it's the same part, because it's failing. Right. So I told them, I said, well, I can't have a fridge for a month. So they wanted buying the whole thing back, like every dollar. And I turned around and bought a Whirlpool, and it's been solid.
Yeah, Whirlpool are good.
I've had it for like 4 years, and it hasn't given me a problem. But also, some of these refrigerators have like all these screens and shit. It's like, oh, it's got Netflix. Who the fuck is needing Netflix on your refrigerator? Are you standing in your kitchen watching Netflix?
Smeg ones are expensive, aren't they?
Yeah, it's like, I don't understand. I mean, now it'd be great if it told you like what was in the fridge, right? And you knew like,
no, they do. A lot of them do. Apparently, they tell you what's in there and tell you there's cameras, so when you put things in there, it tells you the date that you put it in there and stuff like that.
Right. So it's like, but it's
smart stuff.
It's smart stuff. Sometimes it's too fucking smart. Right?
Yeah.
Too smart. Oh, also,
it's like, hey Sam, you got some shit getting moldy in there.
Yeah. Hey, are you gonna eat any of this bullshit that you made a week ago? It's like, no, you can't tell my fridge that basically the food is like I didn't want to eat it to begin with. And again, that's the whole point. A lot of this makes their lives more efficient. However, you got to be careful, because it can't replace everything. Because sometimes tech can't overcome stuff. Like I always tell people, no matter how technically advanced we are, how does water move in your house? It's the same way it's moved for 2,000 years. Pipes and plumbing. Like plumbing's the same, right? Water is the same. I don't care. You don't have smart plumbing. You have a pipe that moves that water from that
thing. You can get smart plumbing. But
you can, but again, the concept is it's kind of bullet. Same with tires on a car. They've tried all sorts of different ways to make tires and run flats and anything else. You know what works the best? Inflatable rubber tires. The same tires they had back in 1905. It's the same tire, right? It's essentially the same concept. Some things just are concrete and concrete. The Romans.
It's going back to the efficiency thing, right?
It's like 2,000 years old. We still basically build shit with concrete, and it's created back.
The efficiency thing. The other thing with that, you could flip that and say some things make us more lazy.
Oh, you're going to go the Wall-E? Are you going to the Wall? Is that the Wall-E argument? Yeah, I always told. That's why I always call people the Wall-E argument, right? We're going to be on these big sleds.
Yeah.
Eating shit, right? Right. Again, it's. Well, I think it's. I don't know if it makes us lazy. It makes it convenient to not learn how to do the things. That's what I. It's. I think everybody should learn how to cook. I'm not saying like
definitely
kind of shit, but I mean just enough. Like if you lived in an apartment and you're a young person starting out, you don't have a whole lot of money. What young people don't understand is how much eating out costs. This is the things I'm trying to teach my daughters.
People should be able to make a shepherd's pie, a bolognese, stuff like this.
I follow a guy. I have to tell you, there's a guy on TikTok. He does British pub food, and it's all sorts of shit. And dude, I'm glued to his channel. I love some of that stuff. And the last time I was trying to like the one. First of all, I want to get Spotted Dick just because it's a great name. But it's great because he always does like these pub foods. He shows you. He doesn't really show you like actually how to make it, and doesn't break down the ingredients, and it just he shows you how to build it, and it's great. And I can't remember the one, but yeah, they had like a shepherd's pie and something with Lancashire. I can't remember what it was. I just saw it the other day. Anyways, they have such just the pub food looks great. Like honestly, everybody talks about the English don't have great cuisine. Maybe it's not as fancy as like French or something like that, but some of that English pub food, dude, I'd eat all
it's good, mate.
Shit.
It's good homely stuff. It's good homely stuff, mate.
Yeah, the stuff that sticks to your ribs, right? Good
beef tea.
Yeah, beef tea. Bovril, right? That kind of shit. British get down like that. So it's kind of cool. But anyway, it's it's whatever. So, just embrace the tech, but also just, have some practicality. Learn how to do some basic stuff. Don't rely on all the tech to do all the things, right? Try to have some kind of self-sufficiency and use the tech to supplement and make yourself more efficient.
Yeah, use it to supplement your life.
Or just go into a fat guy in a sled, right? Sucking Slurpees and being 900 pounds and you can't walk anymore and having a screen and go Wally on it. It's cool. Whatever. I don't even care anymore. It's cool. Whatever rocks your boat, folks. We're okay with that.
You can make decisions.
Live your life. Yeah, you have the freedom to do that, right? Live your life. It's all good.
If you want an e-ink screen with a physical keyboard,
I just think it's interesting because that's the first thing I've ever. Usually, it's an e-ink is just a reader, right? It's like a tablet or a reader, but that's actually like a functional phone with a headphone jack that actually is ink. I don't just think it's kind of cool. I think that's an interesting idea.
Mate.
Again, is it practical? No. Will it work for a lot of people? Not really. But I don't know. It's just kind of cool. So go check it out. Again, Adam made a video about it. I'm gonna go watch it because I haven't seen it. But I just thought it was kind of fascinating. I saw that and I looked into it.
I'm gonna watch it. I'll check it out.
It's a good time. And then also, it's all good. So anything else we want to cover? I mean, we're past our hour at hour and 15. So again, I always think, and you called me out of there last week when I said like we don't have nothing to talk about. You're like, you say that every week, and then we spend an hour talking about some bullshit.
Yeah, we can always. I could talk an hour about this pen, me and you could, but we're not going to.
Well, yeah, it's just I'm full of shit, so it's all good. Yeah, again, I agree, and Ace, I agree. Not utilizing your tech to make you efficient and stronger, right, and more productive and more more connected, right? So that way,
yeah, that's a key point there, Sam. More connected.
More connected and able to what pen? Oh, his the Bic? Is that a Bic pen that's just like shit?
I think it is a Bic.
It's a Bic. It's a Bic. Yeah, it's the standard.
Is a Bic, yep.
Yeah,
it is a Bic.
It's a big pen. I have like probably a dozen of them. So, and you see, if you can talk about that.
They've
pen,
not changed. Have they?
You can talk about this pen, which is actually a cactus. It looks like a cactus. I don't know. My daughter got these for me. She put them on my desk. I don't know.
Yeah, I've ordered, man. I'm staging my Bic.
And I've got and I've got my I got some stuff in. Oh, these are great.
I'm looking for another pen now.
Do you actually use these? Do you have pens that have like the little rubber end of it where you can like use on your phone? That like they have these little.
No. I've seen them.
It's just a regular ink pen, but it's got a little rubber tip.
Do you know what she loves the pens? You know, it's got different colors.
Right. Oh yeah, do they still make those where you have like this?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
There's like like 10 in one. Oh, they got like purple and pink. And dude,
that's it.
I remember when I was in grade school, like that was a big deal. Like girls loved that because they could draw different. Yeah. I didn't know that they still made. I didn't think they made those.
Yeah, they still do them unicorn ones and all sorts. She loves them.
Cool. Yeah, it's good. Really good. So some of the stuff that I used as a kid is still around. So that's pretty cool. I don't know. Some of that stuff is like, and that's another thing too, is like things.
That's a cool piece of tech though, right? Just having
you had different colors
in one pen.
Kind of cool. It was kind of fun. I mean, I think it's kind of cool. There's a lot of things like from the 80s and 90s that, I remember growing up as a kid that they don't have anymore. And I thought, man, it'd be kind of cool to have one of those. Anyway, so it's pretty cool. So we're having a good time. We're enjoying our tech. We have one more. I guess we have we have one more show. So we have the 22nd would be our last show before Christmas holiday, and then 29th. Well, because Christmas this year is on a Wednesday, which is kind of weird.
It is weird, isn't it?
Yeah, well, and I don't like it because it really disrupts my work week. Right in the middle, it's kind of like it's like a Wednesday.
I love it. It disrupts my work week.
Unfortunately, it's like you got 2 days and you're off a day, and you got 2 days. I like it when it's either on a Friday or it's on a Monday or something like that. It's a little better. But anyway, and then of course New Year's Eve. New Year's Day, and obviously New Year's Day will be on Wednesday as well. So we have 2 more shows before the end of the year. We're hoping to have Ace on. I'll see how he feels maybe the 22nd or the 29th. We're going to talk to him and maybe get him in here before the end of the year. I also saw the other day our friend Roger, Life Attack UK. I saw him the other day. He was on a live stream, and I kind of caught it. I thought it was a live stream, but I think it was the video of the live stream. I kind of missed it. So I just reached out to him.
I think Life of Tech's kind of dead now. He's Rogerbot now, isn't he?
Yeah, Rogerbot. Yeah. So, but I mean, when you go to his thing, it still links to the Life Attack. So, but yeah, Rogerbot. Yeah. Well, it says
I miss his videos.
It says the domain's up for sale. So who knows? But anyway, yeah. But anyway,
Jermaine's up for sale.
Jermaine's up for sale. Well, he always is. It's Jermaine. He's got to be a pivot. He's got to be flexible.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's cool. Anyway, so I'm gonna see if I can get Roger on. I haven't talked to Roger in for a long time, and he's
he's a good guy.
He's a great chap. I love that dude. He cracks me up. He's a good guy. I love his. I know I haven't seen what he's involved in because I know he does a lot of streaming now, and I remember he had the shed and and dude, if you ever want to watch something that's pretty cool, look at what we did to build that little studio outside. That's amazing, dude. I would love.
I love that video. Yeah,
I would love that. He's a bus driver. Cool. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I thought he did a great job, and he has a video on how he built this shed out. It was a really, really nice. He's busy. He's going to make a new one, so I know he's busy. So maybe we can get him on. I reached out to him, haven't heard from him, so we're going to have. And then in 2025, we don't have any major plans for 25. We're just going to keep doing the same thing we're doing, and maybe reach out to some people and get our folks on. But remember, folks, like I said, we are open book. We're an open show. If you want to come on and chat with us, please never hesitate to reach out. We'd love to have everybody, Orlando and Luis, and we're trying to get Ace on. People, obviously we have Jermaine on. He's always a great guest. We're open to whatever. Like I said,
I think it's overdue that we have Jermaine on again.
Right. We need to have Jermaine on again. And like I said, so 25, we have nothing really seriously planned other than just keep doing this and keep bringing this to you. And we appreciate everybody keep showing up. And really, for folks that have been with us for, I guess it's like 108, 6 shows-ish now.
Yeah.
The fact that we've been doing this for this long and everybody keeps coming back every Sunday and they actually seem to like this, that's amazing for us. Like me and Joe sit down and talk sometimes about it, like offline. We're just like, it's crazy the fact that people really look forward to this. I never thought I would have a show
I see it like that, Sam. You know the Dumb and Dumber films. They're really popular.
Yeah, I'm aware of them. They're some of my favorites. Yeah, like Lloyd.
I think that's what we are.
Yeah, I think we're Dumb and Dumber. We're just dumber and dumber. That's really what we are. We're not dumb and dumber. We're just both two idiots, right? But anyway, it's pretty good. But yeah, he's open to join again, and again, we would love to. And Jimmy, Josh. That's weird, man. I'm so used to Jimmy. That's weird. Yeah, that's okay. We'll adjust. We'll get it working. We'll figure it out. But So again, like I said, nothing crazy. We're just going to keep doing the same thing and bringing the show to you. And we may need to come up with a new logo because we may need a new season because that's just fun. So we may have to come up with a new logo and or at least change it up because we always use. I try to change it when we do have a new season. The logo that I use.
Yeah, I can do something.
Joe's going to come up with something, some AI bullshit. He's going to do some Gemini or Copilot or whatever the fuck he does.
I don't do that shit. I'll just make it up myself.
He totally does that. Anyway, so
I don't do that.
I know he does. He actually doesn't. He does a really good job, and he's really creative when it comes to that. If it was up to me, folks, you would not get anything even in the neighborhood of fucking good because it sucks.
Yeah, good idea.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everybody's got. I think it is just something going wrong because Michael said he's got something going on. Ace just got off of having the HIV.
It's that time of year, man. I was feeling ill.
The herpetogonosyphilis or whatever. Hopefully, like I said, I just hope everybody stays healthy. I know the holidays are coming up. The weather's kind of crappy. Everybody's in the house more. So I know some muck is going around. So hopefully everybody feels better, gets on the mend. We can get Ace on and get everybody else on the show and keep this thing running for 25. And who knows? We may actually make more than $10 in a year. If we don't, who gives a shit? We'll just keep showing up and keep doing this and bringing it to you because we love doing it. We don't give a crap. It's okay. When you have no expectations about any kind of like anything, it's great. We just keep showing up and we just appreciate that everybody comes in and tells our folks about it and enjoys our show. And thank you so much for
keeps us going.
Yeah, and thanks for coming on and also another healthy chat. Appreciate you guys. We're gonna sign off. Have a good week. Enjoy your tech. Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Just don't. And and enjoy your holiday. Maybe some family time. Try to end the year on a good thing. 24 went quick. I don't know, 25, who knows what's going to happen, at least in the United States. We have an administration coming in, so who knows what's going to happen. Apparently the whole world's going to cave in. Who knows? We'll see. But enjoy your tech and spend some time with your family. We'll be back before Christmas, so don't worry. We'll be back on next Sunday, 3 o'clock, and hopefully Ace can join. And if not, we'll get him on. We're going to get him in here eventually. I promise. We don't want to skin your shit. Screensoon's got code.uk. Go get some skins.
Yeah, they had buy one, get one free. I think it's ending in an hour or so, though.
Yeah. So do all that. And so enjoy your tech. Have a good week, folks. We will see you next Sunday. We love you guys. Enjoy your tech. Catch you next Sunday.
Bye-bye.